Have you ever found yourself in a situation where your own sense of self-importance got the better of you? Maybe it was during a heated discussion where you just couldn't back down, or a time when you refused advice because you thought you knew better. We've all been there, right? Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's as old as time, but as relevant as ever. Why ego is the enemy. And who better to guide us through this journey than Seneca, the ancient Stoic philosopher? His insights are like a mirror, reflecting the parts of ourselves we often overlook. Let me share a quick story. A while back, I was working on a project I was really passionate about. I was sure my approach was the best. A colleague suggested a different strategy, but I brushed it off. What does he know? I thought. Well, turns out, quite a bit. The project hit a snag, exactly where he said it would. My ego, my need to be right, had blinded me to good advice. It's like that famous quote, "We often refuse to accept an idea merely because the tone of voice in which it has been expressed is unsympathetic to us." That's not from Seneca, but it's something he'd definitely agree with. It's a simple story, but it paints a clear picture of how our ego can be our own worst enemy, steering us away from growth and success. Ego. It's a small word, but it packs a punch. In simple terms, it's our sense of self-importance, our inner voice that says, "I'm right, I'm better." In moderation, it's natural. It's part of being human. But when it grows too big, that's when trouble starts. Ego shows up in our need to have the last word in an argument, in our reluctance to admit mistakes, or in our urge to discredit others to feel superior. It's like wearing tinted glasses that distort reality, making us see ourselves as the hero, the genius, the infallible one, even when we're far from it. The deceptive part? It often feels good, justified, even righteous. But this self-deception comes at a cost: strained relationships, missed opportunities, and stunted personal growth. Now, let's turn to Seneca, a towering figure in Stoic philosophy. Stoicism, for those who might be new to it, is an ancient Greek philosophy that emphasizes self-control, wisdom, and the pursuit of virtue. Seneca, he was all about understanding human nature and its pitfalls. When it comes to ego, Seneca had a lot to say. He believed that our ego often leads us astray, making us slaves to our own desires and fears. He saw ego as a barrier to wisdom and virtue. According to Seneca, the more we let ego control us, the more it hinders our ability to learn, to empathize, and to forge meaningful connections. He argued that true strength comes from humility, from acknowledging our flaws, and from being open to growth and change. In Seneca's view, overcoming ego isn't just about personal peace. It's about creating a life filled with meaningful relationships and true wisdom. Let's delve into some of Seneca's key teachings on ego. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This is a powerful reflection on how ego can distort our perception. Our ego magnifies our fears, our desires, and our hurts, often leading us to react in ways that don't align with reality. It's like we're in a play where we're both the director and the lead actor, often over-dramatizing our part. Another profound insight from Seneca is, true happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future. Ego often traps us in the cycle of what-ifs and if-onlys. It keeps us chasing shadows of future success and fretting over past mistakes, robbing us of enjoying the present moment. Seneca is nudging us to step out of this cycle, to live more in the now, where true contentment lies. Breaking these down, what Seneca is essentially telling us is to keep our ego in check, to see the world more clearly, and to live more fully. It's about grounding our self-perception in reality, not in the inflated image the ego often paints. Moving on to the real-life implications of ego, it's everywhere in today's world. Think about social media. It's often an ego battleground where the number of likes and followers can falsely inflate our sense of self-worth. Or in the workplace, where ego-driven decisions can lead to toxic environments, stifling creativity and collaboration. In personal relationships, ego can be a silent relationship killer. It's often behind the unwillingness to apologize or to compromise, leading to conflicts and misunderstandings. On a personal growth front, an unchecked ego can halt our progress. It makes us resistant to feedback, closed off to new ideas, and afraid to step out of our comfort zones. To see ego's impact in a modern context, just look at the rise and fall of many public figures. Often it's not their lack of talent or opportunity that leads to their downfall. It's their inability to manage their ego. Their story is a cautionary tale for all of us. How letting ego take the wheel can steer us off our path, both personally and professionally. All right, so how do we tackle this ego beast Seneca style? Here are a few practical tips. First, practice self-awareness. Regularly check in with yourself. Ask, is this my ego talking? Whenever you're making decisions or reacting to situations. This simple question can be a powerful tool to pause and reflect. Second, embrace humility. Remember, everyone has something to teach you. Approach life with the mindset of a student, always ready to learn and grow. Third, practice gratitude. It's hard for ego to survive in a grateful heart. Every day, list 3 things you're grateful for. It could be as simple as a good cup of coffee or a kind word from a friend. This practice shifts your focus from what you want to what you already have. And lastly, engage in acts of kindness without seeking recognition. This helps in grounding your sense of self-worth in your actions, not in external validation. The benefits? Well, managing your ego can lead to more meaningful relationships, better decision-making, and a more fulfilling personal and professional life. It's about creating a balance where your sense of self is rooted in humility and open-mindedness. So, what have we learned? Ego, while a natural part of our psyche, can often lead us astray, clouding our judgment and hindering our growth. Seneca's teachings provide a timeless guide to recognizing and overcoming the influence of ego in our lives. Now, I want you to take a moment and reflect on your own experiences. Where has ego shown up in your life? How has it affected your decisions, your relationships, your growth? And here's a challenge for you. For the next week, try one of the tips we discussed. Whether it's practicing self-awareness, humility, gratitude, or acts of kindness, give it a go and see how it impacts your daily life. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's learn from each other. Remember, the journey to overcoming ego is ongoing, and we're in this together. If you found this video insightful, give it a like, share it with friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Until next time, keep growing and stay humble.